DeVos and her family spent millions this election year to further their Michigan school choice policies. But their campaign to establish voucher-like scholarships for private schools and elect a pro-school choice governor failed. Although their efforts to create voucher-like scholarships for private schools and elect a pro-school choice governor failed, Betsy DeVos and her family spent millions of dollars this election year to advance their Michigan school choice policies. However, their supporters maintain that the setbacks do not lessen the urgency of the cause. Over a decade of Republican dominance in Michigan, perhaps no one has influenced school policy as much as Betsy DeVos. With one of the highest densities of for-profit charter schools in the country in Michigan, important aspects of their financial operations, like teacher salaries, are hidden from public view. Without consulting local officials, charter schools in Detroit are free to open and close at any time, anywhere in the city. So-called right-to-work laws, restrictions on tenure, and bargaining rights all affect teachers' unions in the state. DeVos and her billionaire family's political clout are largely to blame for all of that. In an effort to build on those victories, DeVos and her family members contributed at least $11 million to a variety of political causes in the 2022 election cycle, including the Let My Kids Learn ballot initiative to establish scholarship accounts similar to vouchers for private schools and the gubernatorial campaign of Republican Tudor Dixon, who ran on a pro-school choice platform. However, since Michigan voters soundly rejected a school voucher proposal she funded in 2002, the November election has proven to be the most glaring public rejection of DeVos' agenda. Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat who focused her campaign on promoting reproductive freedom, defeated Dixon by a sizable margin. The Let My Kids Learn initiative, which DeVos' team failed to get on the ballot in November, seems to have little chance of passing any time soon. Since Democrats took full control of the legislature for the first time in 38 years, they are now in a position to roll back some of DeVos' most notable education reforms from the previous 10 years. Their top priorities include requiring private charter schools to release more thorough financial records and overturning a DeVos-supported law that mandates holding third graders back if they are more than a grade level behind in reading. The Michigan Education Association would like to think that DeVos' influence over Michigan's education system is therefore waning. The MAEA, the largest teachers union in the state, has consistently opposed DeVos voucher plans. After the January 19th, she was said to be unpopular with the far right because she didn't defend Donald Trump. MAEA spokesman Thomas Morgan referred to DeVos' resignation as Trump's education secretary weeks before her term was up as the sixth Capitol insurrection in his statement. In Michigan, the left and middle have never been fond of her due to her repeated attempts to undermine public education. However, few people share their conviction that the family's decades-long pursuit of a school choice agenda will be put to an end by the election setbacks. Bill Nowling, a former spokesperson for the Michigan Republican Party and a well-known campaign consultant, said, "It's a loss, and all losses sting." Are these turning points for DeVos' agenda? They firmly believe in it, and they'll keep trying. DeVos was unavailable to comment for this article, a spokesperson said. Her backers who favor school choice claim that the urgency of their cause is unaffected by the change in the legislature's leadership. According to Beth DeShone, executive director of the Great Lakes Education Project, a nonprofit advocacy organization established by DeVos, Let My Kids Learn would give students a way to make up academic ground. Politics should get in the way of what's best for our kids, DeShone said. The debates take place on a stage that DeVos helped create. Prior to becoming education secretary, DeVos served as chairwoman of the Michigan GOP, was a prominent donor from the state's wealthiest family, and was a driving force behind a wave of reforms that transformed the educational landscape of the state. There are many DeVos-supported initiatives that have become ingrained in the state's educational system and are difficult to reverse. Take the statewide restriction on the number of charter schools that can be established, which DeVos and her political allies were successful in removing in 2011. Teachers' unions and other education organizations fiercely opposed that decision, but reintroducing the previous cap would require closing schools, which is never a simple political matter. This decision would have the greatest political repercussions in Detroit and Flint, where there are a lot of charter schools and a lot of Democratic voters. Given that the growth of charter schools has slowed, any new cap that doesn't result in school closures won't have much of an impact on the movement. Even the language used to describe arguments for and against teachers' unions and school choice programs shows DeVos influence. Ellen Kogan-Lipton, a member of the State Board of Education and a former Democratic state representative from Huntington Woods who has criticized DeVos policies, said that vouchers were considered very radical in the 80s and 90s. They are now referred to as education scholarships or opportunity scholarships, and the terminology they are using has allowed them to alter the conversation. Kids being saved from failing schools is a topic they discuss. Another example of how DeVos and her allies have set the parameters of the debate is right-to-work legislation, which unions have cited as a contributing factor to their members' declining membership. The term is now frequently used to refer to laws in Michigan and other states that exempt employees from having to pay union dues if their jobs are covered by a collective bargaining agreement. Even in the face of ferocious opposition, Michigan Democrats seem to have the numbers to overturn some of DeVos' preferred policies. But Democrats will need to defend their slim majority in just 2 years, and they have a long list of priorities. DeVos' personal wealth enables her to vigorously support some of the policies that Democrats want to roll back, according to Michigan State University's Joshua Cowan, an education professor who has criticized DeVos policies. Cowan declared, "She's still a billionaire. She could spend more money on public education than it would cost you and I to go grocery shopping." The Great Lakes Education Project and the Mackinac Center for Public Policy are two state advocacy organizations that DeVos has already contributed significantly to and who support her agenda. She could also support a further public campaign opposing the changes Democrats want to make, such as requiring charter schools to disclose more financial data, including information on teacher salaries, according to Cowan. The charter sector, especially major for-profit school operators like National Heritage Academies, has opposed such changes. Despite the fact that the tax-favored scholarship proposal won't likely be certified until next year, when the Democratic-led legislature would have the opportunity to vote it down, Let My Kids Learn spokespeople have indicated that they will continue to fight for it.